November 7, 2000. Night unresolved. Citizens across the United States voted in a presidential election that would become one of the most contested political events in American history. The race between Republican candidate George W. Bush and Democratic candidate Al Gore appeared close throughout the campaign, but no one predicted that the election would end without a clear winner on election night. The results revealed sharp divisions within the electorate and tested the nation's confidence in its electoral system. As polls closed across the country, television networks projected results based on early returns and exit polling. Early in the evening, major news organizations called the state of Florida for Al Gore, suggesting that he had secured enough electoral votes to win the presidency. However, as vote totals shifted, the networks retracted their projection. Later, they called Florida for George W. Bush, only to retract that declaration as well when it became clear the margin was too narrow to determine a winner. This unprecedented sequence of conflicting projections caused widespread confusion and eroded public trust in the accuracy of media election coverage. By the end of the night, George W. Bush had 246 projected electoral votes and Al Gore 255. The remaining 25 votes from Florida would decide the presidency. The state's official tally initially showed Bush leading Gore by fewer than 2,000 votes out of nearly 6 million cast, a margin small enough to trigger an automatic machine recount under Florida law. After the recount, Bush's lead narrowed to just a few hundred votes, prompting Gore's campaign to request manual recounts in 4 Democratic-leaning counties: Palm Beach, Broward, Miami-Dade, and Volusia. The manual recounts introduced new complications. Ballots with incomplete punches, known as hanging chads, and those with unclear voter intent became the focus of intense scrutiny. Florida election officials faced mounting pressure to interpret ambiguous ballots under tight deadlines. The process exposed inconsistencies in ballot design and counting methods across the state. Palm Beach County's butterfly ballot, which listed candidates in a confusing format, was later cited as a factor that may have caused thousands of voters to mistakenly choose Reform Party candidate Pat Buchanan instead of Gore. Legal challenges emerged almost immediately. The Bush campaign sought to halt manual recounts, arguing that differing standards for evaluating ballots violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. The Gore campaign contended that all votes should be counted, even if imperfections existed. The legal battle moved rapidly through Florida's courts, with both sides filing multiple motions and appeals. On December 8, 2000, the Florida Supreme Court ordered a statewide manual recount of undervotes, or ballots that had registered no vote for president. The Bush campaign appealed the decision to the United States Supreme Court. On December 12, the court issued its ruling in Bush v. Gore. By a 5-4 vote, the court held that the absence of uniform recount standards in different counties violated equal protection, and that no constitutionally valid recount could be completed by the deadline set under federal law. This decision effectively ended the recount and awarded Florida's 25 electoral votes to George W. Bush. The final certified results gave Bush 271 electoral votes and Gore 266, with one elector abstaining. Although Bush won the presidency, Gore received 543,895 more popular votes nationwide. The outcome marked the 4th time in American history that a candidate won the presidency while losing the popular vote, following similar instances in 1824, 1876, and 1888. The unresolved election night and subsequent legal battle had lasting effects on American politics and election law. The controversy prompted widespread debate over the fairness of the Electoral College system and renewed discussions about whether the United States should adopt a direct popular vote for president. It also exposed serious deficiencies in voting technology and ballot design, leading Congress to pass the Help America Vote Act of 2002. The legislation sought to modernize voting equipment, establish statewide voter registration databases, and create clearer standards for recounts and provisional ballots. The events of November 7, 2000, and the weeks that followed demonstrated how closely divided the United States had become politically. The image of a seamless democratic process gave way to one in which judicial decisions, ballot designs, and procedural rules could determine the outcome of a national election. The experience reshaped public expectations about election night and made it clear that presidential races might not always produce immediate results. Ultimately, the 2000 election remains a defining moment in modern American history. It revealed vulnerabilities in the nation's electoral system, challenged assumptions about how democracy functions under pressure, and underscored the critical importance of accuracy, transparency, and fairness in the counting of votes. The night that ended without a clear winner reshaped how Americans view their elections and reminded the nation that even in a stable democracy, the legitimacy of leadership depends on the integrity of its electoral process. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.